the other guys. So,
Right.
there's a lot to be there.
I just watched the Nick game, the Nick Hawks game, and what the Knicks sorely lack is a guy that can get it done. Like who's just a flat out stud. And
Look, no disrespect to Derrick Rose. The guy's had a great year. I think everybody respects Derrick Rose. For the person and player he is.
absolutely.
He's not a starting point guard on a playoff team that's going to win a series or two. And the difference between him and Young is just night and day. Like Young controlled the pace of the game. That's what Harden does for us. So, you know, that's what James does for us. He's our tone setter, the pace setter, and he'll just get more comfortable offensively, picking his spots. And it almost would serve us better to lose maybe Game 3 in Boston, had that kind of dogfight win maybe in Game 4, come back and finish it in 5, as opposed to just getting the clean
No,
sweep. Like we could use the
no,
extra work, to be honest with you.
nah, man. You sweep them, you let them get the best to rest their bodies, and you do everything you can to minimize their minutes. If you could walk through this first round, that's the best thing that you could do.
Well, look, I'm not suggesting that the team shouldn't strive for that. I'm just saying I think down the line
I'm looking at
we
it the
might
way
look
that
back
you're
and say,
looking
I'm glad
at
we
it.
had that extra game.
No, I'm looking at it the way that you're looking at it. I think what's best for the team. This is such an experienced team. These aren't young boys.
Right.
These guys know what, like, even though they missed shots yesterday, the shots that they missed, if they hit half of them, if they were their regular selves or washed version of their regular selves, they still win this game by 30.
Yeah, I mean, we had 16 points in the first quarter. That will not happen again in the postseason.
And he,
It's
and
just
he,
not going to happen again.
and it's just amazing that there's another gear that these guys could go. And I only see it, like, I'm looking at this and I'm going, is there some kind of Cinderella Knicks story that could end up where they play us in the Eastern Conference Finals? And I'm watching this team, and I'm watching. I'm like, this is a team that depends on Alec Burke.
Yo,
This,
shout out to him, though. He had a fucking monster game today.
but his
But I'm done
his
hiding
monster,
it. I'm
his
done
mon-
hiding it. I'm
what?
so fucking happy they lost today. I
I,
pumped
I
my fist
I'm
when
not.
Trey Young hit that basket as hard as I did at
I'm
any
not.
point last night.
I don't know. Maybe somehow they fucking make me believe their hype. I thought they had this team's number, and I thought, like these dudes is like Reggie Bullock. That's a that's a starting player for you.
Yeah, Atlanta's better. They're the better. They have the best player in Young, right? They
I'm
have the
so
best
mad at
big man in
myself.
Capella,
I'm a dummy.
Bogdanovich, Horder, the kid we've
Stupid.
always loved. What's the four's name? Um,
Collins.
what's yeah, Collins. Gallinari was fucking terrible today.
He's
Um,
garbage. Everybody that said we should
dude,
sign
he's terrible.
Gallinari in free agency, bad. That was the
Yeah,
wrong
and he
answer.
looks like an idiot with that fucking mohawk.
Dumbass.
Yeah, but that was a great game.
What was a
I
great game?
The Knicks game. It was a great game.
That was two
Um,
shitty teams playing shitty. I
yeah, but look. The one thing we got to just set the record straight with the Knicks. Like Madison Square Garden is awesome. Their fans are loud as any in the league, and that's great. Like you
so
can't take that away from them. Right. My my
if
thing
it
about it
ends
is
in disappointment,
it's of course, but I'm just what I say is I've never seen someone so proud of it. It's like so. I'm looking at my timeline during the game, and like there's Knick fans just being like, "This place is rocking." I'm like, "You're down 6. Who gives a fuck?"
look,
Like who
it,
cares that your crowd is loud right now? You're losing. You
it depends.
lost.
Julius Randle is garbage, and you're about to have to pay him this
Yeah,
is
he
this is.
he, he choked.
Oh my God, yo, these players,
He had a horrible game.
they do play hard defense. That's the reason why I bet them. You know, I let the old cliche of defense wins playoffs games, and it freaking tantalized me to betting on the Knicks to win this series. I bet twice on them. I'm about to lose $150 on these
Bro, I told
losers.
you, Atlanta. It's Atlanta in 6, man. They're just better, and they have the best player.
You need talent.
So think about this, like if that game wasn't at the Garden today, right?
Then
And then this is
then you
a
feel
young
better.
Atlanta team. You put that game at a neutral site, Atlanta's winning.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a lot of the other kids on that team choked. Trey went for it. He's not good enough. It's so crazy, like the difference between Kyrie Irving and everybody else.
Yeah.
Trey gives Kyrie
Yeah.
fits, but still, like
Trey's
murders
game
him.
reminds me of like a poor man's Curry because he's got the deep
Yeah.
range.
Yeah.
He's got that floater down. Look, that kid was hungry. He was not afraid of the moment. He couldn't wait to tell the fans to shut the fuck up. I applaud him, and I hope the Nets sign him in like 5 years when they form their next super team.
We're
But look,
building around Jason Tatum.
well, hey, they can team up together. So, look, we got Tuesday night at home. I feel great about it. I think we win, in the mid-teens, high teens.
You got to give me
I really
a
do.
Nash
I feel
report. You got to give
Nash.
Me, yeah, I need his first playoff game. Go ahead.
I thought he did a good job. He called timeouts early when they weren't playing well. Right when they got down 18, I think it was 8. He called the timeout. They went on a run. They got down 12 in the second quarter. Timeout. The Nets went right back on another run. And that's really, they don't need a lot out of him there. They need him to manage late game situations, just call timeouts at the right time. So no complaints about Nash. Kudos to him. The team didn't play a game, but they hung in there. They stayed together and they grinded the win out. By the middle of the fourth quarter, the game was over.
Yeah, look, if I'm surprised about Nash for anything, I was surprised at just how in control that he was. He didn't look like the moment was too big for him. There was times today I was watching Scott Brooks on the sideline, and it was like he really didn't have a creative mind of what do I do or confidence in what they were doing at that time. He just looked
The
befuddled.
Wizards have no plan. They basically just roll the balls out there, and Russ and Beal take turns. They don't, that guy Bertrand's like he fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I know he hit some threes today, but he's the worst player in the NBA.
I think he might think he might be in a bad situation. If he played on our team,
he's a
might
big
look
fucking
good.
stiff. So would I, but I can't stand that fucking guy. But look, Nash's true test will come when the talent levels are a little bit more even, and that's not going to be in this first round.
Yeah, it's hard to judge it, but I think Brad Stevens is a really good coach. He tried to be a little cute with the defenses he was throwing out there, and maybe a little bit of it bothered the guys. I think they probably took more jump shots than they expected.
Right.
But the Nets are just they're indomitable. They're relentless. They're inevitable.
Yeah.
It's just we're going to beat you.
Our three, like KD's not going to shoot 1 for 8 from 3 again.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Kyrie was 1 for 6 or 2 for 6 or something like that. That's just not going to continue.
Can I say something that might sound crazy, but I think it's true?
Sure.
Even KD's 1 for 8. KD's 1 for 8 isn't Joe Harris's 1 for 8. If Joe Harris is 1 for 8 from 3, he's a complete failure. He's brought nothing to the table. If KD is 1 for 8, there's 3 men around him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
There's
even like my
easy
brother
rebound
today,
near him.
I remember my brother last night was like, how does KD have 20? Like, I feel like he hasn't made any shots. I'm like, well, he's got a couple dunks. He got to the free throw line. He makes all his free throws. Like, he can shoot 1 for 8 and still have a good game.
Right, and you
He
you
already
you
he hit the glass last night hard. You
you
got to
blink
say.
you blink
He
your
had like
eyes, and
12,
he's
13
got the.
rebounds.
What was his total stat line? You got it off your top of your head?
I don't. I mean, they just showed it. He had like 32 points and 12 rebounds with like 2.5 minutes. So I don't know what he finished with.
Ke-
Um,
Kevin
dude, he had a
Durant,
ton of
man.
rebounds, couple blocks. He had a good game.
For all the fans that wasn't there, tell them what is it like? What is the difference in watching Kyrie and Harden in real life? And our seats, yo, our praises due to you, man. Our seats were great. You picked them, good seats. But
So
seeing
yeah,
those
Section
guys in real
31.
life,
Yeah, Section 31. People, I always say behind the basket, if you can get to like all the way like to the right or all the way to the left, provides a good angle at Barclays.
mm,
And I love that that we were like kind of in that last row there, so there's really nobody behind you to have to worry about. Especially when we kind of just switch seats basically towards the end, moved back one row to be in that last row. But, with Kyrie live, this was my first time seeing him as a net. I didn't get to a game last year
mm,
that he played in at least. He was hurt with the ones I went to, and he was incredible. He's a showstopper. His handle is just absurd. Like there were a couple of times he'd get matched up with like who's the white kid that comes off the bench for Boston, the little guard from Oregon, and everyone just stood up and was
I'll
like,
never
"Get out of this
remember his
mother."
name.
Yeah, right. Nice little player, but like he got switched on to him, and like our entire section was like, everyone just get the fuck out of Kyrie's way and let him cook this fucking kid. And he did. He like in and out him, crossed him like 16-footer, like splash.
Yeah,
Next possession, 3, 10-point game, timeout Celtics. Good night. Check your fucking train schedule. Make sure you don't miss the next one. Like that. That was that kind of deal.
no.
It was awesome.
Watching the post game interviews of the Celtics players, they basically just said, "There's nothing we could do. These dudes are just on another level. It's over."
Well, when you put him in this situation where he can't be your main focus, that's a fucking problem for your defense, because he's gonna cook your second or third best defender, and he probably would cook your first guy too.
Yeah, if you put your
So,
first guy on him alone, he's baked Alaska.
and I
Ah,
think our fan base knows we don't have the best camaraderie amongst our fan base. We don't have the loudest crowd, but I'll give our fan base this. We know that there's outside hate and ignorance towards Kyrie. We know that the Celtics fans don't like him, that the Knicks fans are constantly saying, well, yeah, what about this? Or he'll disappear and all that. We took care of him. We have let him know that we have his back. And last night, one guy had his name chanted, and it was Kyrie Irving when he was on the foul line late in that game.
yep,
Everybody let him know, like, dude, we don't care what they say about you. You're our guy.
that's
And
right.
I really think he's poised to have a big-time run here. He seems like he's in a good mental spot. He's in a great spot to succeed based on the stuff around him. And kudos to Kyrie, man. He put on a
Yeah,
show for us last night.
that was pretty incredible. Like he got the loudest ovation. He got the loudest standing
Yeah.
cheering when he came out, and that just goes to show that like that shit matters when you say, "Look, I'm from Jersey. That was my team. That was the best times in my childhood. Was going to games with my dad." And he locked in with fans in a way that no other players is going to, that doesn't have that story. So he's a Nets fan for the same reason you're a Nets fan. And the best time of being a Nets fan for him
Right.
is the best time for being a Nets fan for you, and it showed in the love we showed him. Watch when the Knicks get bounced out of the playoffs, all those star fuckers are all crowding our building and making our tickets too expensive. Um, I I really loved what I saw that day, man. It was, as much as we are a very You know what? Let me give the Nets fans credit. We don't argue